Hi, Brian Crombie here. I wanted to tell you about a big milestone that I've passed this past week with the Brian Crombie Radio Hour Saga 960. I have just this past week posted 500 different interviews on YouTube. It's a lot of really interesting people that I've had the pleasure of meeting and talking to, and hopefully expressing some important views to you, my listeners and watchers, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. To remind you, the Brian Crombie Radio Hour is on Saga 960 every evening, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. now, new time at 7 p.m. You can stream me online at www.saga960am.ca, or you can get all my podcasts and video casts after the fact on briancrombie.com, on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify, if you can believe it. I've got an incredibly interesting week set up for you this week. I've got Rick Anderson tonight, Monday night. Rick is a old political friend, contact of mine from Liberal days, and then he worked on Parliament Hill, and then he converted to Reform and worked for Preston Manning, and now he's one of the most senior government affairs communications experts in Canada. He's on TV on a very regular basis as a commentary, and we have a really good discussion of vaccine rollout, of issues associated with debt, social justice, policing, frankly, all the issues going on in Canada today. And Rick is the type of guy that you want to really have the opinion from. Tuesday, I've got two really interesting young CEOs. The first is Faz Ahmed, who runs a couple different events that are really associated with the cutting edge of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. He's got one called D3, which is about the digitization of retail and of marketing. He's got another one coming up in May on intelligent cities. And he's also an expert, and he's got an event on the Internet of Things. So really interesting conversation about digital and how it's changing our world. And then Alex Vesna, CEO of Prepared Canada, talking about variants to COVID-19, whether the vaccines are going to work, what we need to do in regards to lockdowns, what we need to do in regards to public health. It's a fascinating conversation. Wednesday, I've got a really interesting good news story about a group of people from various different ethnic groups and religious groups that came together in Peel to get PPE, personal protective equipment, and distribute it out to people in need. And it was led by a buddy of mine, Imran Hassan, who is a big community activist, and he brought in a Pentecostal church pastor, an imam, the Peel Police, and the chief of the Mississaugas of the Credit. And it's a fascinating conversation with all these different people on the call, and I think you'll enjoy it. And it's really an interesting discussion about PPE, community getting together, diversity, inclusion, and equality. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely. On Thursday, I've got two interesting guys. The first person is Mark Halpern, who is a tax expert, but really what he's all about is investing in charities. And he finds some interesting ways that you can invest in charities and dramatically improve your tax position, as well as the estate that you have and the tax implications for your estate. And then I've got a fascinating young lady, Tamara Leach, who is a marathon runner. And she got into marathon running to sort of find her passion and challenge herself after some challenges in her own life. And it's a really inspirational conversation, and it's an interesting one. And then Friday, I want to come back to fashion. I've talked about fashion a few Fridays in a row now, and I've got Claudia Zinatti Capoboa, who is the regional director for Canada for something called Fashion Group International. And she talks about fashion in Canada. She talks about slow fashion versus fast fashion. She talks about retail. She talks about trends. She talks about fashion during COVID, fashion in the summertime, spring and summertime. It's just a really interesting conversation. And this is for someone who's got one of the biggest shoe collections and dress collections I've ever seen. It's amazing. So that's my week for you this week. I hope you tune in. It's the Brian Crombie Radio Hour every night, Monday through Friday, Saga 960 AM, or streamed online at www.saga960am.ca, or podcast and video casts on briancrombie.com, on Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Thanks.